at the future of the children. We cannot compromise safety, and safety must be paramount. We must do everything in the power to make sure that the children learn in a safe environment. And that includes freedom from hunger. Freedom from hunger is a serious vice which is affecting the children. But at the same time, in the learning process, exposure to different environments, to different activities, helps in the growth. So we should not be curtailing everything on the basis of curing one issue but not solving the whole problem. Overall, we must put safety first, but we must also look at the holistic development of our children. Not only in academics, they need to learn in agriculture, they need to get social skills, they need to get skills, economic skills. We want them to be entrepreneurs, we need to develop all these skills. If we give them all those skills, that is when they will be the student who we want, or the future which we want will be able to be achieved through them. But that means giving them a decent beginning, a decent education, and a future which they can bank on, a future which they can work on. So it's holistic, it's not one side. We should not be knee-jerk, but ultimately we must develop our children that they must be competitive with any child anywhere in the world. So, with those few words.
Apologies from my colleague honorable members of parliament, whom some of them are in the respective committee meetings, others have gone to the respective constituencies on LC1's election. I want to bring the message that is very clear from the members of the parliamentary caucus. I want to re-echo our position of stance on the press statement that we made on the 20th of this month about distancing ourselves from the masqueraders who are moving up and down and talking about members of the parliamentary caucus of UPC, that we do not support the Uganda Flow 6 legitimacy of Jimmy James Akena as the party president. I want to declare this on a very clear ground that every person who believes that members of the UPC parliamentary caucus, who are 12 in number, believes in whatever belongings that does not subscribe to the legitimacy of leadership of Honorable Jimmy James Michael Akena, let him or her bring it in broad daylight. Let him or her bring it and prove it to the same press position that all of us are gathered. On several platforms and forums, we are hearing statements that are coming from people whom we don't believe, and I have never met some of them. Some of us could have not even talked to one another. That members of UPC have gone across castigating that we don't support what is happening at Uganda House Flow 6 under the leadership of Jimmy James Michael Akena. Take it from me today that this is the position of the UPC Parliamentary Caucus. We subscribe to the stamps that were put on our nomination forms from this same floor, under the stewardship of the current leadership. And we believe in the rules of law. The constitution of the Uganda People's Congress is what we believe upon, and it is what we treasure. We want to support and declare that whoever wants to take it from wherever he or she takes it, let it be in line with the party constitution. Let it be in a line that does not contravene the main supremacy of the mother law of this country. I want to say that as UPC Parliamentary Caucus, we are committed to respecting whoever is in authority. We are committed to respecting the rules of law. We are committed to respecting the constitution of the Uganda People's Congress. I want to appeal on behalf of the UPC Parliamentary Caucus, any organization, any CBO, any individuals who would wish to come and join Uganda People's Congress in the fight for the welfare of the people of Uganda is welcomed. But is not in whatever ways that you feel it should cause fights, it should cause divisionism, it should cause bloodshed in our party, in this country. I say this forgotten.
This notion of amendment on the rules or on the processes of running parliament, in my own thinking, is absolute rubbish. Does not make sense. It has never worked anywhere. And you're introducing it for what? If you're saying that the opposition should elect the leader of opposition, then who should elect the prime minister? If you want to elect leader of opposition, you should also elect the prime minister. But here you're distorting. A lot of what we have is from a parliamentary system, developed systems. We inherited a parliamentary system from Britain. Some people should study the British parliamentary system before they start coming up with amendments. It's like saying, I want to invent a square wheel. You can be granted leave to go and make a square wheel, but that square wheel will never transport anybody anywhere. So you're wasting people's time and everybody's resource. And now, is this the most important thing to do today? We have Ugandans starving in Karamoja. You now want amendment to meddle with NUP, to meddle with UPC? You want to govern Uganda. Ugandans are dying. Yet, most important thing, let's mess up with UPC. Let's mess up with NUP. Hospitals without medicines, let's mess with UPC. Let's mess with... Where's your priority? You're serving who? Mine is to serve the people of Uganda. Tell me about health. I can give you a whole complete system of how we can make the health system work for every citizen of Uganda and everywhere in Uganda. And I lean on that history. There are videos which have been going around where they talk about the 22 hospitals, but people don't fully understand what the UPC plan was then. The plan then was to increase the beds, hospital beds available for citizens of Uganda by 78%, which rounded up to be about 8,800 to 8,900 beds. If you count 100 beds in 22 hospitals, those are 2,200 beds. What happened to the other 6,000 or the 6,600? Where were they? These were the dispensaries, the sub-dispensaries, to serve who? The people of Uganda. Where? Everywhere in Uganda. So when UPC says everybody, UPC, everywhere, UPC, we're talking about serving the people of Uganda everywhere where they are. That's where the hospital beds were. We can look for them. You can show them, I can show them. These are now the things which are now being called, district hospitals and what. Those were the dispensaries and sub-dispensaries built to serve the people of Uganda. Instead, we want to mess with UPC. If you want to mess with UPC, you come with better ideas. Come with ideas which will make Akena's ideas look like useless. That is when you can now start talking about messing with UPC. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're wasting everybody's time pretending to be leaders, yet you have nothing to offer the people of Uganda. Start with the idea. Some of us did not come here just thinking that. We start with the idea. Then you look for a way whereby you can stand in a position to be able to articulate that idea, to be able to be heard. Some people just arrive and they think that just because you're there, anything that comes out of your mouth will make sense. It does not make sense. It's not working. So, what do I have to say about this? This is nonsense. It is truly nonsense. So on the question of the bicycle, that technology exists. I got the bicycle, the engine from China. This is done in order to balance. In my case, I was trying to remove a lot of the brew, which was taking place in Lira municipality.
The amendment bill is being proposed by a member of parliament that subscribes to NRM. I don't want to believe there is a member of parliament in the current parliament which I serve that subscribes to PLU. PLU, as said, is like a night dream that you believe you dream of a click of a sound of a bird, which the bird itself doesn't exist. Unless you wake up in the morning and you find the feathers of the bird eaten by rats in the compound, that is when now you will believe that there was a bird that was making noise at night. So the member of parliament who is proposing the amendment is a member of parliament on NRM. So I want to say that as members of parliament, we are still waiting for the bill to come out. And we read through and see whether it can pass or not. But what I want all Ugandans to know is, if you could have followed yesterday from the parliamentary debate when we were paying tribute to the honorable member of parliament, the late General Moses Ali, may his soul rest in peace. really believe that in Uganda things are moving in the opposite direction. Even the people inside the house are not trusting the beds they're sleeping in. There was a senior minister who stood on the floor of parliament and declared that the current government is ending tomorrow. When he said if this government fails to make the brick that Moses Ali was committed to following up, the next government is coming to make it tomorrow. Now, if the person who is sharing the bed, the lady who is sharing with the same bed with the husband, is not believing that the husband can make her produce a child, then how do you trust that bed? Briefly, that is what I can add on.
I'm quoting the 1971 document to capture the principle. First, the crimes committed during and after the coup are committed by Amin and his clique and not by their relatives or tribes. Then he goes further. However high the degree of our revulsions to the massive killings, when the regime falls, the police and the courts must be the only proper bodies to deal with this grave matter. What is the principle here? Obote at this time, people are being killed, people are being hunted, even just based on their ethnicity. He says after this, it's only the police to investigate and the courts to try. What is PLU? Is it a police? Police? No, but it's only the police. This is the principle which I follow. I follow Milton Obote's principle. Only the police to investigate and the courts to try. Who is PLU police? If you say I'm going to be charged, what have I been charged before court? That I be judged. So even before I'm judged, I am condemned. This is what I'm condemning. I said this thing on Twitter where somebody is being judged on Twitter is wrong. Somebody, every citizen must have a right to a free and fair trial. After the trial is when the conviction can come. So, who is the police here? Investigation is done by the police. When the police are satisfied, they come up, they hand over to the next body, which is the DPP chambers, which are not supposed to be directed by anybody or any institution. Now, somebody sitting, I don't know where's the office? Sitting in Nakasero, where? Giving orders both to the investigators and those who are supposed to judge. If such a judgment happens, then we say Uganda has gone to the dogs. No, the dogs have completely taken over Uganda. There must be a semblance of justice. A political party from independence, political party which fielded candidates, political party which has been part of IPOD, political party with members in the 12th parliament. And then it just happens like this, that somebody decides somewhere, and if they're able to execute it, then I'd rather not be alive. I'd rather not be alive in a Uganda where some fool somewhere can just come up with something and it happens. No. While I have breath, you will struggle. I won't give it to you easy. I'll make it rough as I can. Because I believe in this. I believe in this party. I stand by its record. So I'll defend this party with every tool I have, plus more. I'm not rolling over. If they're coming to remove me, they'll find me. Because there was a whole issue of a certain agency of government was out to support particular candidates. And it goes back to the question there. These candidates who had a PLU label, ISO was given the duty, support them. Let them come into parliament. But they don't govern me. Or they should not govern the future of Uganda. The future of Uganda should be with the people. And the people must determine the future which they want. So, we are going into this election, the ground is not level. After 2021, the president said, the funding which we did not receive was unchristian. His word, unchristian. On the floor of parliament, I upgraded it to be diabolical, meaning of the devil. We didn't get that money. We're going into this election, we have not got the money. We've not got the money for 2026. But I saw the Secretary General of NRM saying he has 11 billion on account. If I ask, where did that 11 billion come from? Maybe you members of the press, you know. NRM says they have 11 billion on account. Do you know where it came from? Where's the accountability? What? I don't know. Me, I'm struggling, I don't have money, but without money, I am still going to do my best. I'm not prepared to roll over and die. If there's no money, I'll still move. I'll still do what I have to do. But is it fair? No. Very unfair. Very, very unfair. But that's what it has been. So you get this party with this super majority in parliament, having control of all this one. But the most important thing which they think needs to be done in Uganda is how to mess the leader of opposition office and how to mess the Uganda People's Congress. Is that really a country which is making sense? I am crying. 2 million Ugandan children under 5 are starving. Their future is destroyed. And yet the best thing you can do is how can you mess Jimmy Akena? They say a party with what members? Only 12 members. Yes, I have 12 members. But more important than dealing with the problems of Uganda, you want to mess with UPC. More important than dealing with the problems of the people of Uganda, you want to mess around with NUP. Those are wrong priorities. My priority is the people of Uganda. If you stand in my way, well and good. We shall meet at the end and we'll see how it follows out.